but the average independent or the average artist in general, I don't even say the average independent artist, the average artist in general cannot control virality. And when you see somebody else having a viral moment, 9 times out of 10, it was either not complete luck, but luck if we're being honest, or they were probably towards the middle or tail end of a bigger push they have been doing. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the other thing about virality that people love to ignore. People love to pay attention to the 100th post that went viral, but ignore the 99 that came before it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
man.
And it's like, man, you literally possibly watch he or she or they work 1,000 repetitions to finally get this one video that went viral, and now maybe every video after that is going crazy or going viral. But there were a lot of repetitions that kind of came up to that point, and that's the reality for the vast majority of artists that go viral. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, what's cracking, everybody? We are back with another episode of For All We Know, talking to so many people and so many things that they're doing. And this is probably another one of my favorites. I know I say it all the time, but y'all know I'm a really, really big music head. And as I've gotten older, it's not just about the music. It's about everything that's centered around it. So yeah, you know, K Dot will drop an album, but I want to see like how he does the rollout, like the merch that comes with it, the videos, the themes, everything like that. And I really, really am fascinated with music marketing, I found out. So I had to bring somebody in to kind of explain to us what goes into it, what works, what doesn't work. So all you artists that are dropping stuff, y'all need to pay attention because what he's about to talk about is proven because his company is extremely, extremely successful. And he's talked to some big names, worked with some big names. So we had to, tap in and invite him on the show because you can't just release something and then walk away. You gotta have something around it. You gotta have a plan. So he's gonna, kind of give us the insight on what's going on. And if you're an artist, you need to pay attention. So shout out to Kohrey from No Labels Necessary for joining us. And yeah, man, it's been a minute. It's been a minute, but we tapped back in. How you doing?
It's been a long time, man. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. I'm excited, man. I think it's gonna be a good convo. I'm happy to be on the other side of the interview. You know what I'm saying?
I say that all the time, man. I love when people interview me. I feel like they're just like the pressure's off. The pressure's off.
Yeah,
But
100%, man.
yeah,
100%.
man. But like I was saying in the intro, like I love music, right? And it's not a lot of people think it's just hip hop. It's not just hip hop, but of course it is also hip hop. But I love music in general. But I love how people roll music out these days. It's almost as good as the album. Sometimes
Yeah.
like that rollout, and we'll get into some examples later on. But that rollout, man, it's like the finishing touch. And if you do it wrong, I'm kind of like, it was kind of a missed opportunity. So, we talked about, like I said, your company is extremely successful. Your brand is extremely successful. What inspired you to co-found No Labels Necessary? Like, what was the vision for the platform?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. So, I mean, No Labels Necessary came along a little bit, deeper into our content journey. I've been making content at this point for about 6 or 7 years. My business
Mm.
partner and I started with YouTube videos. Started to hit the other platforms as the other platforms became relevant. And I mean, man, we got to a point. So we had got to a point where we had stopped making content completely. You know what I'm saying? We stopped making content for maybe about a year and a half, 2 years, and that came because the agency was taking off, right? So we were making all this content, trying to kind of crack through, get our name known, and we finally hit that moment and we realized, man, it's hard growing an agency and making content at the same time, or it's hard being an influencer and being an agency owner at the same time. So we kind of took a step back, and we fast forward about a year and a half, 2 years later, and we start to feel the impact of not making content. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's so interesting. Like, you give the advice to artists, you tell them like, "Yo, man, you take your foot off the gas," it's like it's literally like going 150 miles per hour in the car.
Yeah.
Like if you take your foot off the gas, you're not gonna feel it for a bit because you're going so fast, but eventually the car starts to slow down. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like, man, the trees are moving a little slower now. So we started to feel that, but the thing that the thing that was kind of moving at the time was podcast. Podcasting was kind of at its peak, and so we were like, yo, let's make a podcast. Like that's easy. We can just shoot for 5-6 hours. You know what I'm saying? Once a week, and we can knock out 2-3 episodes. And you know that should fill the content bucket until we feel like being like real content creators again. You know what I'm saying? We're kind of planning things out super in depth. So in the midst of that, you know, we kind of got the idea to be like, hey, let's build another platform with it. You know, let's at least start an Instagram account where we can post these clips out. Let's take the advice we're giving artists and start to clip up our own content. And, you know, like any marketer, you realize, you know, how can I kind of make this move faster? You know what I'm saying? And we were like, hey, we already have this brand and this reputation built of providing value and information, and we've never been shy about information that we've gotten from other places. Why not do that same thing with the page and repost advice and content and things that we see across the internet, you know, which isn't a completely new concept, but I think because of the brand we already had attached to it, and, you know, all of these different pages are always looking to kind of put their unique spin on things or maybe find these hidden clips and gems, which I think we did a very good job at. And as it built out, we started to see the value in it, not only as a social platform, but then also just in having this engine where we can push our own content, right? I could post a clip from Lil Wayne and it's going viral and getting 1 million views and then post my content right after it, you know what I'm saying? And at least cipher some of that over. So it was almost refreshing because, you know, we feel like we stumbled across this gem. Man, here's something that we can build and we can grow out and our face doesn't have to be attached to it, which was the issue that we were having. Like, man, all the content we make, our faces in it, nothing grows if me or Sean don't step in front of the camera, you know what I'm saying? So it ticked off a couple of, just a couple of things we were looking for. Like I said, we have something that can be faceless. It's something that, you know, just because of who the people are that we're putting on the platform, their pieces of content can move faster. Like, let's be real. Like, you know, if I give advice and Jay-Z gives the same piece of advice, Jay-Z clip is 100% getting more views than mine. Sure. So it also kind of became this way to spread some of our marketing ideology by proving that, hey, there are other people who are out here following these philosophies. When they get into their bag, they're damn near giving the same advice, just in a different language or from a different perspective. And I think it's a good place, or it has become a good platform for artists to be able to just scroll through, and you really can pick up on a couple of different perspectives around some niche topics like really quickly. That's definitely what kind of keeps us doing it. Is we've started to see the impact of it. You know, like we have the conversations. We started to kind of go outside with the brand on our backs and see how people respond to it. And yeah, man, it looks like we you know, like I was telling you off camera, I just came from Music Biz, this conference that's happening in Atlanta, and I talked to a lot of people that knew about the platform. I was like, oh yeah, I follow you guys. I've gotten really good info. I've stumbled across other good educators. So yeah, it didn't start out, you know what I'm saying, with that being the vision for it, but that's 100% where we continue to keep taking it. I plan to keep taking it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you guys are like constantly growing, man. Every it's funny. I knew, and I didn't tell you this, but I knew that y'all were growing because maybe I would say, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, my brother sent me one of your reels. I was like, oh, when somebody else sent you something, it was like, oh, I know who this is. But I was like, Kohrey doing his thing though. Yeah. They doing their thing though, so that's what's up. So I kind of want to jump into the music just head first. Okay. When you guys have artists come to you and say, oh, I want to be successful, how do you define success for an independent artist in today's music landscape? Because there's a lot of people doing a lot of different things as far as campaign rollouts, but what is No Labels Necessary's definition of that, when a campaign is successful?
So my definition of a successful campaign is everything that we said will be done has been completed and is working well. I tell clients all the time, hey, I don't like to specify how well it can work because I really can't predict that. I'm not a magician, I'm a marketer, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm not psychic, I'm a marketer, right? But obviously if we've ran these repetitions before, we've seen what these strategies look like when the right pieces are put in play. I expect good things to come out of it. So my bare minimum bar is, did it do what we wanted to do? And you've probably heard me say this over the years: is everything upticking? Because if everything is upticking, then we can keep the ball rolling. You know what
For
I'm saying?
sure. Yeah.
So now the issue with that is that isn't necessarily every client's idea of a successful campaign, and I think even that kind of comes down to where the artist is and their understanding of marketing things. Like someone that's ran 1,000 ad campaigns over the course of their career isn't about to come to me and expect like the craziest result. They know if they give me $2,000, they're gonna get $2,000 worth of results. We could strike gold here and maybe get more than what we were kind of planning to get, which is what everybody in music is always looking for, right? We're looking for the outlier, the thing that where I normally get 20 cents for whatever reason got 3 cents. You know what I'm saying? But when you deal with artists who have done certain marketing things for a long time, or just have ran their own campaigns, maybe work with other agencies and marketers, those aren't usually the artists and teams that are expecting, the craziest things out of certain stuff. It's usually artists who are like just doing it for the first time, or maybe ran it once or twice, and they don't have a complete holistic perspective on everything, that is shocked or kind of thrown off when something doesn't just like take off immediately. But to answer your question, my personal definition is: did you do the things you set out to do, and did the numbers start to go up when you did it or as you did it? I don't care if it was one person. I don't care if it was. I mean, obviously, I'm saying if you spent $1,000, hopefully you got
Probably
more
more
than
than that.
some one
Yeah.
person. But do we feel like we saw a good amount of growth? You know what I'm saying? Like, can we price this growth out? Like I said, are things moving across the board, or at least a couple things moving? Because the thing about marketing is that marketing is a long term game. You know what I'm saying? I tell most clients, like, just to be real, a lot of your early games should be just kind of throwing things at the wall. Try things you hear about. You know what I'm saying? Try things again that you tried before. Just throw things at the wall, because once you find something that sticks, now you got a 6 to 9 month marathon you should be planning to run. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
enjoy the journey of figuring out what that marathon is going to be, because eventually you need to run it. And I think that going back to what I was saying about just the seasoned artist versus the unseasoned artist, most of the seasoned artists kind of know that. You know what I'm saying? Or like I said, not all of them, of course. Everybody's different, but I would say a good amount of artists who've been at least doing marketing campaigns for, let's just say, 3 to 5 years plus, they kind of come into that mentality. Okay, here's what I'm willing to try, and I at least want to plan for what we do if it starts working, so I feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And those are thankfully majority of the types of artists that I work with. You know what I'm saying? I actually just had this conversation. Me and Sean had this conversation the other day, because we had like our first like bad ed client in a while, and I was like, man, this is weird, bro. I was like, man, I haven't been in this space in so long where, what I'm saying, like I'm having this conversation with someone that genuinely doesn't understand what's going on. But so I've thankfully been afforded the opportunities to work with artists who have, like, by the time a lot of artists get to me, they've at least tried a couple things before. You know what I'm saying? It's very rare that I'm starting with artists that are like really starting at complete ground zero. You know what I'm saying? And even them, I do a pretty good job of breaking the rose tinted glasses pretty quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm very honest. I'm not a person that's shy to give you my opinion. I don't sugarcoat things. If I think it went bad, I'm gonna tell you it went bad and why I think it went bad, and we can have the conversation from there.
They're
You know
gonna
what
have
I'm
to
saying? 'Cause
eat
that's all I
that,
can do.
man.
All we
Yeah.
can do is learn from it and apply it to the next campaign, right? And so artists may not necessarily agree with this. I think most marketers would agree with this, but there also isn't genuinely a such thing as a bad campaign, because every campaign teaches you something.
This is
You know what
true.
I'm saying?
This
If you
is true.
spent $2,000 and nothing happened, and let's say you had a $10,000 budget, you saved $8,000 in that situation, because you could have put 10,000 into it and have learned the exact same lesson for more
Just
money. You know what I'm saying? So
that's
I
a
think
harder
that
lesson.
there isn't truly anything as a bad campaign, because once again, you're playing a long term game. The game should be to learn from it and apply it to the next campaign. And you know what I'm saying? Always, to be good at marketing, you have to keep the spirit of experimentation alive. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I don't think most artists would agree
Yeah.
with that.
No, no, it's but that's true though. Like you said something that I've heard before where like when you're not popping or like nothing's really like cracking on your side as far as like just the posts and everything like that, that's your opportunity to try everything.
Yeah,
Because when you're like at a certain level, there's some things that could go real bad because you got more eyes on you. So you
yeah,
gotta You got to be real careful about that. So, if people haven't been on your page, who are some of the like past clients you guys have worked with, or like the past campaigns?
Man, it's been so many at this point,
I know,
man. We
right?
work with 24K Golden. We've done some stuff with like Def Jam. A lot of we've worked with like DC to Done. I'm trying to think of like who our most recent big artists are. This really dope R&B artist coming out of Ireland named Moy. I hope I said your name right, bro. My bad if I didn't. It's been but a lot, bro. At this point, I got some really interesting stuff coming up that I'll tell you about off camera. I can't
Okay,
talk
yeah, for
about it
sure.
yet because the invoice hasn't cleared. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, you gotta wait
I
for
know
that
it's gonna
money
come out that way,
clear.
but yeah, man, I would say probably the ones we brag about the most are 24K Golden, Macy Gray. Like I said, the Def Jam side of things. We have a really good relationship with Rostrum Records. Um, yeah, I don't know, man.
Okay.
This is what's so interesting about like the clientele thing. I think I was telling you this off camera, but like we're not in the space to where we're just like working with like a shit ton of artists anymore. You know what I'm saying? At least not on the agency side.
Yeah.
No labels necessary has kind of been the focus for a long time. And when it comes to campaigns, we prefer to take things that we feel like we'll learn something from or passion projects, right? Like something where it's like I really rock with the artist or they're trying something that's kind of interesting and it'd be a cool case study. You know, it might be a cool story to tell or a good piece of content or something like that. So we don't take everything that gets thrown at us, which does unfortunately lead to us missing out on sometimes what could be really good artists to brag about. But I've just learned in this game, bro. Once you get like a handful of big artists that you've worked with, and then you get to the point to where you're working with other people who work with other big artists, bro. Nobody
Yeah.
cares. Nobody cares anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so it's just like I don't even be thinking about this sometimes. Remember, I was telling you off camera, like literally, I'm planning to go back and list out every single client I've worked with since
Gotcha.
2018 because I feel like if I were to really look at the number, it's probably crazier than I think it is. But you know what I'm saying?
And yeah,
But yeah, the
that's
ones we
what.
brag about like 24K Golden, like the Def Jam stuff, DC to Done. And my favorite clients are some of like the really indie success stories we've had, like Johnny Two Phones, Manny Wells, Tom the Mailman, the Don't Be Greedy label, and some of the alternative artists. So that's what we brag about a lot. But if you go look at the website, you know what I'm saying, you
You
see
see all of them.
you see
Yeah,
them
y'all
but not
definitely
even
gotta
all
do
of them,
that
bro.
list.
Probably like 1% if we've been real. But
Damn.
like I
Yeah, you
said,
gotta
man,
finish that list.
that's on me. That's on me for not being organized.
Yeah, you gotta finish that list, bro. But
Yeah.
so what are some of the like misconceptions that not just people but artists have about like going viral, and how do you guys kind of address that? Like if an artist says, "Oh, um, here's 5K, I want to go viral." Like what's some of the misconceptions that people have when they come to you about this kind of stuff?
That virality can be controlled. You know what I'm saying? Like that
Mm,
virality is like this magic formula, a button that people can hit, and it just happens. If I'm being honest, like if I'm just 100% honest,
mm-hmm.
a vast majority of my most viral campaigns were not complete accidents in the way that like we were just being bumbling idiots and it just kind of happened, but in the way where it was the moment it happened was almost just like another day. You know what I'm saying, to us, and it was just us hitting the repetition. You know what I'm saying, executing the plan we put together, and then something just clicks. Now I think that once you see something spark, you can control how viral something goes to a degree. Because it kind of goes back to the long term thing, the long term aspect of marketing, right? You see something spark and get 1 million views. Yeah, if you push the right other marketing buttons, you could take it to 10 million views. You could take it to 100 million. You know what I'm saying? But just like pure, raw, organic virality, 99% of the time, it can't be controlled. Now, I give that 1% because I think that once you are a big enough artist and you really have a large amount of people paying attention to you, I do think at that point you can start to control viral moments. Like you think about like a Soulja Boy or like a Kanye West or somebody like that. Like they 100% have formulas that they can use to damn near go viral every single time. You know what I'm saying? But the average independent or the average artist in general, I wouldn't say the average independent artist, the average artist in general cannot control virality. And when you see somebody else having a viral moment, 9 times out of 10, it was either not complete luck, but luck if we're being honest, or they were probably towards the middle or long tail end of a bigger push they have been doing. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the other thing about virality that people love to ignore. People love to pay attention to the 100th post that went viral, but ignore the 99 that came before.
Yeah, man.
And it's like, man, you literally possibly watch he or she or they work 1,000 repetitions to finally get this one video that went viral, and now maybe every video after that is going crazy or going viral. But there were a lot of repetitions that kind of came up to that point, and that's the reality for the vast majority of artists that go viral. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So, with different artists that come to you, do you tailor your marketing campaign based on like the kind of artist or the kind of genre?
It depends, right? So the way I always explain it to clients is that the game that you're playing is the exact same game that every other artist is playing. The pieces just kind of change, you know what I'm saying, based on what type of artist you are. So for example, I know that if I run ads for an artist, the ad will be effective, but I'm going to run a completely different targeting setup for this country artist than what I'm running for this hip hop artist, right? So I'm using the same tool, but the way I'm using the tool is different for them. So a lot of it is, every genre kind of has different cultural things that affect how the marketing works for them or how certain things kind of click for them, right? And you hear it in every genre. Like every genre, I don't want to say complains, but they always like pick and choose different things about, you know what I'm saying, the genres. Pop artists be like, man, it's crazy that the rappers can go shoot a video with a phone and go viral. And it's like, well, you could shoot a video with a phone and go viral too. Like you just feel like everything needs to be polished and clean, you know what I'm saying, whatever. Or the rap artists be like, man, it's crazy that the pop artists can just go do a live stream and make money. It's like, you could do a live stream too, bro. Like, people might pay you, you know what I'm saying? So, like, a lot of times where I kind of believe that I come in when working with these different artists or different genres is helping them understand how strategies that other genres might be doing could apply to them. Now, every artist doesn't go for it. Every team doesn't feel that way. Like I said, like that's the thing you have to think about when you work with different genres is, music and genres are just about their languages, right? Like we're using this to speak to a certain group of people. Every group of people has practices and cultural heritage and things that they all abide by and would do and would never do. Yeah. And knowing how to work or getting good at working certain genres, I think in order to be a good marketer in a particular genre, you have to either really know that space well culturally, or you have to be willing to like dig deep and kind of like learn about it. Like I remember my first Afrobeats campaign I ever got. It was in 2020. You know what I'm saying? It was with this artist named Kwesi Arthur, and then we worked with this artist named Manuel shortly after. And like I was like deep in like Afro culture, bro. Like I'm on like South African meme pages, you know what I'm saying? I'm on Wikipedia looking up influencers, you know what I'm saying? Like following them, because I'm like, man, I don't want to be the guy that sets up a post on a Niger meme account and the way I write it, they could tell an American wrote it. You know what I'm saying? Like so I think that like there are things like that you kind of have to think about with every genre that can affect how the campaign plays out. But in reality, bro, like they could all use the same tools to play the game. I just don't think that every genre necessarily feels that way. So to answer your question, a lot of times it's me just figuring out how my expertise fits into their world and their game plan. I'm a very simple guy. Never have sold myself as the know-all, be-all guru. I like to stay afloat in terms of certain things and be knowledgeable enough to maybe have a conversation or find somebody else that needs to do it. But I have a very specific skill set. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at, and I stay in my lane. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you will get artists that will want you to come out of your bag because they like you or they like how you think, but you gotta let them know, like, hey, this I may not be for it, or I need you to understand that this is going to be a learning experience for both of us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's all about the conversation.
Yeah, but usually when I'm talking to artists of different genres, it is me trying to help them understand how we can apply what we do to their world, or sometimes breaking the reality to them. They're like, not that they necessarily can't, but that it will be harder, but we're willing to take this journey with you if you're willing to you know what I'm saying, go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So that being said, are there any campaigns that you've had before that kind of had like unconventional methods and it just popped off?
Unconventional methods? Like, you mean unconventional in the sense of what the artist was doing, or unconventional in the sense of like what we were doing?
Um, with the artist, because I think that's a little more.
With the artist? So, so my first ever like truly viral campaign. This was super early in my career. It was, if I think about when I became a freelance marketer, this is
Mhm.
probably like my third or fourth campaign ever, and I made this guy go like massively viral. His name is he goes by Nathan Fouts now. He's a like kind of like rapper country artist out of Nashville, but at the time he was just like straight rapper, and I met him through a good friend of mine who was a promoter in Nashville. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I used to be in management, and I met this promoter homie just from when I was in management. He tells me about this guy in Nashville that he knows. He's like, "Yo, bro makes pretty good music. Like he has a good budget. Like I think you should talk to him and work with him." And like I said, he's probably like my third or fourth ever marketing campaign at this point. So he sends me this video of him in a bedroom. He's like dancing around in front of the camera with like a blunt in his hand, and no, I'm tripping. He's dancing around with a blunt in his hand and a gun in the other hand, and he's just like dancing around the camera with his song in the background.
Mm.
He drops the gun. The gun goes off, and his mom comes into the room and starts beating his ass, like dragging him out the room, beating his ass. And he posts it. It goes a little bit viral from his page. At that time, I think the big music accounts we used were probably like Say Cheese and Our Generation Music. We got it posted on those two accounts. It went, and then World Star picked it up. 24 hours later, it went crazy. Like it went stupid viral. Like probably, if I remember correctly, and this is me just ballparking, because that campaign, that video goes viral at least like once a year, every year. Every year since then. This is back in like 2019, 2018,
I
2019.
might have to look this one up. It sounds familiar though.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. You probably seen it before,
Okay.
bro. But like legit, we probably got like 150 million views for like 3,000 hours, bro. It was
Wow.
crazy. Like that shit went viral as fuck. So campaign is wrapping up. Bro is in an interesting position, and we're having a conversation, and he's just like, I know, I'm like, yo, man, like this is so crazy, but it's so crazy, like you happen to like catch that on camera. And he was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Man, it's so crazy. Like you just so happened to be recording. Like when all that happened." He was like, "Oh no, I staged the whole thing, bro. Like me and my mom like staged it. Like my mom was in on it,
Wow.
my dad was in on it, and I didn't know that. And I was like, man, like why didn't you tell me that?" He's like, "I was afraid that if I told you that it was staged, like it would have changed your approach to how you were marketing. Like I wanted you to push it
Mm.
like it was real." And I was like, I respect that. You know what I'm saying? I still wish I knew, but I respect that. But it reminded me that everything in your marketing doesn't have to be real. And I knew that. I also came from the publicity world. Like my last gig before I hopped into management was publicity. Like I worked for a publicist. The publicist I work for is a very big, a huge fan of publicity stunts. Like he is like damn near one of like the publicity stunt kings when it comes to PR. And so if I'm being real, like that was the cloth I was cut from. You know what I'm saying? When I was getting my training as a younger music industry person.
Hmm.
And so that campaign reminded me like, oh yeah, like we can like stage things and fake things, and everything doesn't have to be real. If we can catch it for real, great. But if we can't,
You can stage
you know what I'm
it.
saying? Let's get creative here. So
Yeah.
that's probably been one of the most interesting viral campaigns I've ever been a part of. Um, Cause just like where that went, man, and like I said, just the fact that he was able to bring his mom and his dad in on that idea. Instagram was in a completely different place at the time. You probably could never get away with doing something. You couldn't get away with that
Nah,
today. You know
not
what I'm
these
saying?
days.
But
Well,
and it's
I don't
like,
know.
cause the gun thing would probably 100% get the video taken
Oh,
down. You know what
yeah,
I'm
I
saying? But he was
forgot.
like blatantly waving a gun around in front of the camera, bro. It was crazy. And it's just like meme page culture was in such a different place at that time.
Mm.
Music blog page culture was new. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like the perfect storm of a good piece of content and the right marketing channels for it, and a good idea if we think about the fact that bro, you know what I'm saying, put that all together and executed it. And it was something that I like I said, this is my third ever marketing campaign, my third or fourth ever marketing campaign.
Uh-huh.
But I was stupid, and it just didn't click for me at the time. Like, oh, that's the formula, bro. Like, put the idea together, make the content, and then push it through these channels. That didn't really like click for me where it became my game plan, like signature
Uh-huh.
game plan, until probably like year and a half later. You know what I'm saying? It took 24K Golden. 24K Golden was when it kind of like resurfaced again, and we really it clicked because we had 24K Golden 2019 to 2020, and I think we started working with Manny Wells like 2020 to 2021. And so it was like we had two artists in two completely different spaces. Manny is in R&B, Afro R&B, and 24K Golden is in pop rap. And we're watching them put together these content pieces. Everything that we spend money on is damn near going amazingly, you know what I'm saying? And then that's when we was like, bro, it's the content. It has to be the content. The music
Right.
too, of course, but the content is such a huge part of it, and like that completely changed our whole marketing style. You know what I'm saying? I think before that, and I mean, you were watching our content, so I think you maybe even could attest to that as a viewer. Before 2020, 2021, we were like the ads and playlist guys. We were very much so like the data-driven guys.
Yeah.
2021 and up, we started becoming more of the content, creative, social culture guys. You know what I'm saying? And that's because we were off of those campaigns where, you know, going back to my earlier story, Manny was the first time where we worked Afro beats and we did a super huge cultural deep dive to make sure that we handled that campaign well. And 24K Golden was one of the first times that we had an artist who was as big as he was, but was also willing to make content consistently, if we've been real, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Him and Manny were that for us. So, like, yeah, once we saw those campaigns, that's when it was like, oh, this is going to be our style. This is going to be our new thing that we preach and practice and talk about. And we've been damn near pushing that narrative ever since, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, y'all been doing it for a minute too. Can you? Is there like a collaboration that you guys had that maybe not might not have been as big, and then it led to something a lot bigger after you guys did it?
A collaboration that we did that led to something big, that led to something a lot bigger. So, well, so let me ask you this: are you talking about the platform, or are you talking about the agency?
The agency.
The agency. So actually, man, it's a couple of things, man. Music is so interesting, man. Like I was realizing the other day that I finally been in it long enough that I started that I get to see certain seeds that I helped plant, or just seeds that I remember getting planted, and like seeing where it's kind of come today, right?
Wow.
And so a lot of good ones, man. One being my good friend Sam Levine. Sam is like a really good homie of mine. He runs an independent label called Don't Be Greedy. Super diverse roster. He has punk rap artists, punk rock artists, and just like one of the most holistically intelligent guys that I know in the music industry. You know what I'm saying? Like, and knowing what he's done, like the work he's put into certain deals and things, I'm like, yo, like, bro, he set himself up to legit be like a really respected indie label owner. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Like a couple years. Sam started off as my friend, and he started off as a salesperson for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like our best salesperson. I mean, he was my friend before, but when he worked for us, he was genuinely like our best salesperson. Like, he understood music to a T. He's a personable guy, like people for the most part, like Sam. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when his first situation started to happen. So he had two big things hit at the same time. He got asked to manage this artist named Six Dogs. Six Dogs was like a huge rapper in the SoundCloud era, was pushing through. He unfortunately passed a couple years ago, but like at this time, he legit came to Sam as a new manager and was like, "Hey, bro, I believe in you. Here's my catalog. Let's go do something with it."
Right.
And
Right.
then also he had this artist named Tom the Mailman pop that year, and so in a single year, he got a really big artist with a fan base already, and he had an artist that he helped build from scratch pop off all in the same year. Sam was stressing out working for us, bro. We could see it, man. Like we could see, like I remember there being one meeting, bro, where I just like looked at him and was like, man, bro, we're we're fucking him up and fucking us up by keeping him around. And we had a conversation. We was like, bro, like we know you don't want to quit because like we're friends, and you know what I'm saying. Like you feel the
But
way
you
you feel,
gotta.
bro. But like you go take care of your label, bro. Like
Yeah.
go do your thing. And like now. I mean, I feel like he would have done it eventually, just knowing. Like, eventually the pressure would have got too big, bro. He would have cracked. But now seeing where he's kind of taking his label and just the crazy deals that he's negotiated, and the artists that he's helped pop off and the ones that he's about to help pop off, like, I always think that's crazy. One of our best marketers ever went on to work for Def Jam, which ended up leading to a really healthy relationship between us and Def Jam and a couple other Universal labels. And she was like our go-to marketer. She was like damn near my right hand for like years, you know what I'm saying? But that was cool because I was like, oh man, I trained someone that a label finds valuable. You know what I'm saying? Like a major label
What's
finds
up?
valuable in her expertise and the things that she know, and that came from her working with me. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So shout out
rewarding
to
in
Jocelyn,
itself.
man. And I would say if I looked at it from, I can't think of. I don't want to be rude because I forget a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say I. It would probably be unfair of me to say that um, none of my best business relationships have come from artists. I know that would be true if I untrue if I thought hard enough. But if I'm being real, like most of my most valuable connections and business offerings that have come to me have come
Hmm.
from peers that I networked with when I was a lot more down. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
No, I mean
Like I
that's
said, bro,
real.
like people I legit remember seeing in the trenches, and then it's 2, 3, 4 years later, and they're like,
Circle
he's like,
back.
you catch up with them some way, like, oh, bro, what you do now? I'm like SVP of A&R. You're like, oh shit, like, yeah, bro, I actually want to talk to you about some campaigns. We got Whoop De Whoop coming out, or you meet somebody else and they say, oh man, I remember, bro, like when you were talking about setting up your indie label, like what's going on? Oh yeah, bro, we actually signed this artist back then. Damn, that was you, bro. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So like most of those type of things have been from people that have worked for me, people that I just gave advice to in my DMs. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? People
And
that watch the content. Like it's crazy, bro.
you know what's crazy is that, and we hear this all the time. People always want to network up, but when
Hmm.
you network across, just like you said, you find those people when you are networking, and you're moving up in your career, and they're moving up too, and then y'all linked, and everything happened because y'all networked across, right? Y'all
Yeah,
were talking when we're just trying to come up. So it's important, man. Networking
yeah,
across is important for
yeah,
real.
man. I think it's literally like A&R, bro. Like if you started a label today and you had a team of people around you, and you and that team were talking about how y'all can make money as a label, and you said, let's go sign Drake. It's like, duh, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're like, where everybody's thinking about that. Everybody wants to get Drake. Drake is
Right.
probably getting some crazy offers right now. You know what I'm saying? That's how you have to think about people in certain levels
Uh-huh.
of their music industry career, right? Like that big manager or big A&R, whatever, but that's the Drake of the music industry. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or the whatever of the music industry. But you know what most labels do and smart labels do is they go look for it, smaller talent that maybe hasn't completely proven itself yet, but is promising, and they sign them. You know what I'm saying? Take care of them hopefully, and then 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the line, they're lit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I look at relationships in the business the same way. You know what I'm saying? Which is why like I'm not gonna sit here and lie like I'm the most sociable, like friendly person. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like I don't talk to everybody that tries to talk to me, but I talk to a good amount of people that like, you know what I'm saying, want to have a conversation with me. Like I'm, especially if you catch me in person. Like if you catch me in person, like I'm usually down to have a conversation. So,
Yeah.
and I think like I said, now that I've been in the industry, not even just in the industry, but in the industry from the perspective of working and building my own thing, and I've started to see how that's impacted me. You know what I'm saying? Even actually a really great example, my homie Mo over at Rostrum Records ooped us a really dope DC to Done campaign. And I love DC to Done as an artist. Like I was a fan of him before Mo started working there, but I remember when Mo was an intern, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was
Wow.
interning at Love Renaissance, and he was in my DM asking me questions, and now I'm talking to him, and he's giving me marketing campaign briefs, and you know what I'm saying, pressing me about campaigns. You know what I'm saying, asking me questions and stuff, and it's like, man, that's fine, bro. That's so hard. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I
Yeah.
got to see that, and I got to be a part of that. So that's why I say I don't want to be unfair because I know I'm lying by saying that if I said that artists, no artist has ever led to you know what I'm saying, a connection or something. It's the music industry, you know what I'm saying? Of
Yeah.
course they have,
The
but if
people.
I really think about it, most of it has been just the networking across, bro. Making
Hmm.
sure I talk to people and just connect with people, and the platform helps with that a lot, thankfully. You know what I'm saying? Like it does push a lot of people our way. And I do understand the privilege that comes with that is I do get the privilege to sift through people sometimes, and I
Hmm.
can pick and choose a lot of conversations. Whereas like the average music industry professional may not have that type of access. They really do have to be at every conference and you know what I'm saying, at every show and shit like that. I can sometimes just chill in the house and still make a good connect. You know what I'm saying? Just
Hey,
from
that's the
from
hey,
going
that's
to,
the
just from
best.
sometimes I'm like, man, you know what? Let me go through my DMs today. Oh shit, bro, you was in here, yeah.
Hey.
Let's hop on to me next week. So but I think to answer your question, bro, both of those things, honestly, like the platform itself has probably given me most of my best connections. Everything I give to the platform, no matter where I go in my marketing career, I'll never stop doing content or stop building some type of platform, because doing that is what got me here in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So that's been
Yeah.
the biggest provider of everything, you know?
No, I feel you, man. I feel you. And that's some of the, what you said is so true. One of the best feelings is not having to go out and still make connections. Making connections from your phone? Come on, man.
Easy, bro.
That's
Bro,
easy. Making money for you when they, what's, I mean, a lot of rappers say it, but $1 million phone conversations? Come on, man.
yeah, bro. Or just,
That's the
$100,000 connect off the IG DMs, bro.
man. Come
Crazy,
on,
man.
man.
And I have that spirit in me, man. Like, like we were talking about off camera, bro. Like, we met through just Atlanta underground scene stuff, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And,
yeah,
and, and bumped into each other there, bro. So I tell people, like, that is even why I understand the privilege of what I have, because pre-COVID, especially, bro, I was deep in the underground streets, bro. Me and my Sam actually were just talking about this, man.
yeah.
Like, we were talking about how insane we were at that time, because pre-COVID, bro, we would legit be at like 4 to 6 shows a week, bro. Like, trying to find shows and things like every night to go to, just to like talk
Yeah.
to people and meet people. Right? We were always up on like every conference, everything. So I'm like, oh, I know what it's like to not have a platform, which is
Not,
why I
yeah.
don't take my platform for granted. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Nah.
I probably
Yeah.
have before, but you know what I'm saying. But I try not to. And like I said, my biggest um, just word to myself is that no matter where the professional side goes, like, continue making content,
Hmm.
continue putting out information, because if you hadn't done that, then nobody would even care about what you think and the stuff that you do. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Maybe if I grinded it out traditional way, it probably would have took a lot longer. But I do think that I got where I'm at a lot faster because of the platform. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
like an artist, bro. Like, the artists that make content gonna move faster than the artists that only networks in the studio. Both could be successful, right? Like both of them could get there,
Hmm.
but 9 times out of 10, the content one is probably gonna move a little bit faster. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, nah, for sure. So you guys also like offer like different programs and classes, all right, to
Yeah,
help people with this kind of stuff that because everything's moving so fast, man.
yeah, yeah. So I
Everything's
mean, we
moving
we
so
have
fast.
we have courses on things. Courses
Yeah.
have kind of been our bread and butter. We have consultative services, whether it's short term, like a 1 hour consultation, all the way up to longer term programs. Like 3 months is usually where we cap it out for most people. Most of the long term clients buy consultations in like 3 month increments.
Hmm.
And then we also have in person development camps, man. So this has been our baby for like the last year and a half, and it's been something we've been super proud of, and it's been getting a lot of good feedback. But we started doing these things called content camps.
Mm.
So the flagship one is here in Atlanta. We're actually, I guess by the time this one comes out, we'll probably have done the LA one, but we have an LA one coming up.
Okay.
But the premise of the content camp is we have a bunch of artists come out. We rent a bunch of production spaces, so like different content studios and things like that. We hire a bunch of professional videographers, and we have days of training sessions, days of like media training, and then days where the artists are just shooting their own content either with the videographers or on their own. You know what I'm saying? They kind of get to do a hybrid of both, and like that's been dope because we're able to give our expertise to artists in real time. And we consult artists on content. Like, that's probably one of the main things we get hired for at this point. Like, just to be real, is a lot
Hmm.
of times most of our consultative clients are coming to us for, I would say, half figuring out how to build a marketing infrastructure, and then half
Hmm.
like content ideas. You know what I'm saying? But giving them the advice in real time is like way different. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I can say, like,
Yeah.
hey man, straighten your back up and smile a little bit, man. You singing a happy song, like, get your shit
Yeah.
together. You know what I'm saying? That hit different than being on the Zoom, like looking at the video, being like, man, next time you shoot, bro, smile more, bro. Like, how are you rapping a happy song and you look sad as you look sad as fuck. So we're expanding those. We're doing more of those. The game plan is we'll probably do at least one more this year after the LA one, probably another Atlanta one. And then next year, 2026, like, you're gonna see us go crazy with that. Like, we're gonna do probably a couple pop up ones in different cities, and then do flagship ones, one in LA, one in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? But that's
Okay.
that's been the program that, like I said, just to be real, is a little bit new. I think this next one will be like our fourth one over the last like year and a half. But that's the thing where I'm like, yeah, this is our, I think, gonna be our magnum opus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
One of my that's so dope that you guys are doing content like camps because I love podcasting. I love like doing all this stuff, but I am the worst at making content like consistently, right? And I'm trying to get better at it. I swear I
Yeah,
am, but I'm the worst at trying at like continuing to make it, to make it, to make it. So to put
yeah,
somebody in that space where they can generate so much content, cut it up and just keep using it, or if they have a campaign idea and all that stuff, that's really dope. Just put them
yeah,
in that setting where it's like, all right, you got to do it, and then you guys are training along the way. That's
yeah,
really tight
man.
too.
Yeah, and it's a lot of different touch points. I think too. Well, one, you're in a room with other artists who came here to make content. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, I mean, once they go through some of the training sessions and we force them to do little icebreakers and stuff. Most of the artists there were very comfortable. They would be down to help another artist with their content. Maybe you needed somebody to hold the phone a certain way or hold the light a certain way, but most of the artists were down to help each other. Like I said, like we had some really professional videographers there. We had a really professional production team there.
Hmm.
So there were people there who could speak to certain things that we can't speak to. Sean and I are mostly creative when it comes to content. I'm the idea guy, but once you start asking questions about lighting and shot setup,
you
that's when you
like
lose
you
me,
like go
man.
over
Like, yes,
there.
it goes right over me. But we had people in the room where, artists really could be like, man, like, I'm having trouble figuring out this lighting setup. And they could walk over to this videographer that shot a music video for Gucci Man or some shit and ask him or her a question about it, and they would come help him out with it. You know what I'm saying?
There you
And
go.
so, like, seeing it, just seeing it that way, and like I said, we were able to even see what it looked like if we had bigger artists come out. We invited an artist named ISO Kenny out to the last one because just being transparent. One of the biggest feedback, or biggest, I won't even say feedback. I'll say one of the biggest pieces of hate when we push it to, let's say, like labels and certain things is that I don't know if I want my artist in the same room with this artist that maybe only has 1,000 monthly listeners, right? Because a lot of our audience is starting artists, so
Right.
it might be a room full of 20 artists. It might be 11 of them who aren't doing crazy. Maybe 4 or 5 that are doing pretty well, and then maybe like 1 or 2 that are kind of like really starting to take off. But that was like kind of the ceiling for 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
This last one, we had an artist that's a lot more established. He's had a big song. He's a lot bigger. We got to see what it was like for him to be in it. Like, right, he's comfortable because he doesn't feel like he's competing. You know what I'm saying? Because the other artists there kind of really fuck with him, and it kind of gave us the ammo to say, hey, if your artist can come in here without an ego, bro, they're gonna come in and have fun. They're gonna appreciate the fact that they're not in the room necessarily with other big artists. And like, it's content, bro. Who cares if the artist with 1,000 monthly listeners
Bro,
help their
everybody starts
million monthly
somewhere.
listener artist shoot a video? Like, who's gonna care about that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's not like a song where like you co-sign them, bro. Like,
You
bro
feel
held
me?
the lights for
Like
you, or
everybody
bro
gotta
sat
start
next to you in the
somewhere, man.
seminar.
So, nah, I
Yeah,
feel that. I
yeah.
definitely feel that.
So that's kind of the vision for it, right? Like we've branched off and started doing like organizational content camps. We have a like an indie label one coming up where that one's going to be only artists from the label. We're working on selling a couple of other labels on it. So the idea is definitely like taking some legs that we didn't plan when we first planned it out. When we first planned it out, to be real, it was just like, hey, here's a cool community activation idea that we had. And we did it, and then people were like, hey, do it again. And then we did it, and they were like, hey, do it again. And like we keep
Wow.
hearing do it again. So we're like, hey, we might as well just plan to build this out and make it a flagship event for us, man. So definitely planning to grow that out as the years grow. Always looking for ways to make that better and make sure that we're giving people value from it and they leave feeling like they got something, something tangible because they get the content. And then also, saying something more abstract in terms of the information.
Uh-huh.
But I think that's gonna be, like I said earlier, like our magnum opus when it's all said and said and done. You know what I'm saying?
That's
That
what's
and the no
up.
labels necessary page.
That's what's up, man. I'm over here soaking up game, and I'm not even in the music industry. Like I love it, but this is. I feel like this is something that's general that could be applied to so many other things, especially
Yeah,
like podcasting and all that too. You got to create content.
facts.
But I had to ask because y'all are the experts. So I got my list, but I want to know yours. What
Oh,
would you
okay.
say are like your top three campaigns that you've seen, like rollout wise?
Top 3
Yeah.
campaigns rollout wise ever or recently?
Let's say the last decade.
Last
Yeah, let's
decade.
say last decade.
So it's 2025. So 2015. What was I in life in 2015? What was 2015? Oh, never mind. I know where I was at in life in 2015. So the top three greatest rollouts I've seen is 2015. So for something recent, I'm gonna say Doechie's rollout for her album. You know,
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
yeah, she's getting a lot of hate, bro, but she did everything right in my opinion. Like she did the industry stuff, she did the internet stuff,
Mm-hmm.
she did the experimental stuff because she did the live stream. You know what I'm saying? Like live streams aren't a new thing when it comes to artists, but let's be real, bro. How many artists are mapping out real live streams as a part of their rollout? Not that many. You know what I'm saying? Like they might
Not
go
that many.
live
They're
for
joining them.
5 or 10 minutes to
Yeah.
talk about it, but they're not like planning out like a whole production for it
Mm-hmm.
most of the time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like I saw her. She played the game on both sides, right? She's like, hey, I'm gonna go do my industry stuff.
And I'm gonna
I'm
do
gonna
me.
tick off all those boxes, and I'm gonna go do the weird internet artist shit because that's
Mm-hmm.
what a certain side of the internet likes to see, and I'm gonna bring it all together. And marketers like me, bro, especially when I talk to artists who are in the label system, that's all we've been asking for years, bro. It's like we ain't saying you gotta pick a side. It's like do both, man. Like please
Yeah.
do both. So I'm gonna give a part of it to her rollout.
Okay, don't you?
Another crazy rollout. Another crazy rollout. I would say, man, I'm trying to think, man. I'm trying to think, like, just like walk through a couple in my head.
While you're thinking, I got one. Before I forget it.
Okay, well, okay, yeah.
2017. I think it was 2017. Tierra Whack World.
You know, I don't remember her rolling it out. I found it like after it came out. I don't remember her rolling it out.
So
Well, I didn't get to see her roll it out.
one of the things that was really dope about it was it's a 15 track project, and each song is 1 minute. So, and she shot a video to every single one. So, and she released the video, and it's all one. It's 15-minute video, but it runs through
Long
the
story.
entire, and it's almost like she's just changing sets and doing like a whole different thing. And there's different energies, there are different moods, different vibes, everything like that. And I thought it was genius that it was 1 minute because at the time you could only do 1 minute videos on social media,
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Yeah.
Genius,
Yeah.
genius. And she was, in some of them she's spitting because Tierra Whack, probably one of my favorite female MCs right now. But if you go back and look, and she's super, super, super like avant-garde, like but she can rap too.
Yeah, bro. The song that popped off was that mumble song. I remember that. Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
like, that was a crazy breakout song, bro. I remember like discovering that song like the first
she's
time I heard it. I thought I was tripping. I was like, damn, is my phone tweaking?
yeah.
And then I
Whoever
went
thought
back.
of that,
Yeah.
was genius, man.
Yeah, that was
and
genius.
it was extremely creative. It wasn't just like she sits in this corner for this track and then she sits in this corner for this. Nah, it was like a completely different hairstyles, different costume. Like, wow, it was really
Yeah.
good though.
Yeah, nah, I thought about my others too, man. And you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be real here. I'm gonna be a little biased.
Okay.
But the bias is here because I live in Atlanta. So
Okay.
whenever I see Atlanta artists do rollouts, it's like I get to see the complete picture because I get to see the internet stuff and I get to see the local activation.
Yeah, you
so,
do.
So I do get a different perspective on Atlanta artists rollout than everyone else. But 2 Chainz rollout for the was it the Pink House when he did the Pink House joint? That was
I
a crazy.
forgot about that.
That was a crazy rollout, bro. Turning a
forgot
building into a
about that.
pink trap house. And I'm gonna tell you how he hit all the buckets, bro. He created a conversation piece. Here's this pink trap house. There's also a museum. If I remember correctly, he had the whole set built up by this. I want to get her profession wrong, but the set designer, I'm tripping. The set designer named Set by Sky, who's like a really popular. If you live in Atlanta, like you've definitely heard of her before. You've definitely seen her work before. So that's influencer marketing. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Right,
gonna go
right.
collaborate with someone who has a name and a reputation for this thing to help me create something that's unique. It became a tourist attraction. People were traveling from all over the country to come to this joint and take pictures. I think it's still, if I'm
They
not
really
mistaken, I
did.
think it's still here or still. I think the Trap Museum has some of the stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So people still travel to see it. That was a crazy local activation, and that was a crazy rollout. You know what I'm saying? And then the other one I would give it to, it's a tie for me between Summer Walker and Young Thug, and you're gonna see I really like local activations in
Yeah.
my rollouts.
No, that's
But
cool. That's good though.
I remember when Summer Walker had the phone booth and Lil 5 Points,
Oh,
and you
I
had to smash
remember
it, and
that.
whoever smashed it, there was a copy of the album in it, and then they could play it. That was a crazy idea because I
Okay.
can imagine being in the middle of Lil 5 Points on a busy, I think it was like a Thursday, and you're just seeing a bunch of people trying to smash up in this fucking phone case. It probably looked crazy.
I
And then
forgot about that.
the one
Yeah.
that ties with me for is when Young Thug rode that horse through the city with to promote that. I can't remember which album it was, but
Oh, I do
and then
remember
that
that.
was when he rode the horse through the city. He smashed that car, I believe, and the internet. Unfortunately, I think this was also when he was kind of like, sending his threats, but it was all part of the rollout.
Mm,
And I don't know, man. It doesn't take a lot for me to appreciate a rollout. I'm not one
yeah.
of those people that's like necessarily looking for like super creative activations like every rollout, or I just look for. I think to me, like I like to just see like progression in what an artist does. Like if I saw artists and for their first project, their rollout was like 8 TikTok posts and a music video, and then the next time they put out they do 20 TikTok posts, 3 music videos, and a local event, and then the next project they do 40 TikTok posts, a mystery contest on their stories, and then they host a intimate event. You know what I'm saying? Like you see progression, you see them doing like more and more. Like that's what impresses me the most. Because even going back to the artists I mentioned, outside of, I mean, well, yeah, actually, technically, I was around to see 2 Chainz grow as an artist. I
Mm,
was a kid, you know what I'm saying, at first, but I was
right.
still here. But most of the artists I even mentioned, like I got to see, some of it being just proximity to Atlanta, but I got to see like
A
them
lot of it.
as
Yeah.
smaller artists. Like I remember Underground Young Thug, you know what I'm saying. I remember when some Love Renaissance first signed Summer Walker, you know what I'm saying. Like I got to see where
The
their
evolution. Yeah.
evolution kind of went. So I think that might also be what makes me appreciate their rollouts a bit more, maybe even adds to the bias. But yeah, those would probably be my three, bro. Like if I
Okay. Those are some solid ones. I completely forgot about the Pink Trap House. That
Pink
was
Trap House was crazy, bro. The
huge.
pink, like just the concept of the museum thing was crazy,
That
and
was
I just can't
huge.
believe that. I know like I don't want to. I can't remember who did it, but I believe a Texas artist may have did something similar.
Okay.
Um, like, but I don't know if I've genuinely seen any other artists put together like a museum for their rollout. You know what I'm saying? Or
Nah,
just
I
this
haven't.
almost like museum piece for their rollout. It was crazy, bro.
But you know what though? I will say, before we go, I will say the the king of rollouts to me, like the champion, is that dude you got on your shirt. Tyler
Oh, Tyler,
is
yeah, 100%, 100%,
Tyler
yeah.
is the king of rollouts because he has managed, and I think Kendrick does this too, but Tyler does it way more in your face. He has managed to reinvent himself. Like let's say Igor is one of my favorites. Like that rollout was wild. But call me
Yeah,
if you
that
get
was dope.
lost with the luggage. You
Yeah,
know, Igor with the blonde hair, the blonde wig, Chromacopia, like it's the same guy.
yeah,
It's crazy. His
yeah.
rollouts are crazy.
He does a good job of, and it's gonna sound like an oxymoron, but he does a really good job of playing a character and being himself at the same time, which is a really hard thing for
Hmm.
artists to do. It's hard enough to do one or the other of those things. Like it's hard for some artists to just authentically be themselves. It's hard for artists to play a character, but he somehow does both really well at
Very
the same
well.
time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And so I can tell that he's mastered the skill of finding entertainment or finding entertaining aspects of himself, but then he's also willing to go play a bit to get the entertainment
he
value that
sure
he needs
is.
for the project.
And that's a really good
And
way to put it.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And bro, like that's been our whole going back to my earlier point, bro. That's been our whole mo for the last couple of years. Because that some artists are gonna hear this first part of the interview where I talked about faking stuff and get negative with it, but
mhm,
I'm just here for creativity, bro. Like, and if in order to get what we need to push the narrative forward, to make people see the things that we need them to see, to make your artistic concepts click, sometimes we gotta put shit together. You
feel
know what
me?
I'm saying? Like, and we gotta stage things, and it doesn't have to be bad. I think staging gets a bad reputation because we think about publicity stunts and we think about, YouTubers running through the mall with cameras and fucking with people, or
Hmm.
people getting naked on billboards and shit like that. But it's like, bro, what Tyler the Creator is doing is staging, bro. Like I guarantee you, he was getting the exact reaction he wanted at the exact moment he wanted because he was planning all this shit. You know what I'm saying? And that to me is like genius, bro. It's pure genius. And the part about his rollout that I would love to talk to him about. So I don't know if he would ever admit it online, or maybe he has, and I just missed it. But there's always a part of somebody's rollout, especially big artists. There's always something in the rollout that either happens that wasn't planned, and we see if how they capitalize on it, or there's always a part of the rollout that didn't go nearly as well as they thought it would go, and they had to pivot it. I would love to talk to him about those
And
things.
what
You know
happened?
like what were we looking at, going like, yo, this nigga's crazy, but he woke up like, oh shit, like this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like this shit happened that way, or they took it that way, and then they're doing X, Y, Z. I would love to know like what was actually a part of the plan, and then what was just kind of like the lucky moments that happen. Because that to me is marketing, bro. Marketing is you come up with a plan. You come up with as extensive of a plan as you can, as your expertise allows, as your budget allows, but you leave room to pivot, and you leave an open mind to things happening the way that you didn't plan for it to happen. And I think that's what makes a good marketer is like that combination. Like you know how to sit down and make a plan, but you also know how to stay open to stuff that you just never would have seen coming. You know what I'm saying? Because if you were to interview 100 marketers, and if they were all being honest with themselves or being honest with you, they would tell you that some of their biggest wins were complete lucky moments that, like I said, nobody saw coming, but were the result of just executing the plan that they had put together. You know what I'm saying?
Trial and error.
I planned for it to go well, but I ain't know it was gonna go viral. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know that. I was just setting up an ad like any other day, or getting a post up like any other day. You know what I'm saying?
Trial and error, man. Trial and error.
100%.
But yeah, man. So we appreciate you coming, man, coming on the show because I just think it's so fascinating to talk about the marketing behind music. That is like one of my favorite things to do. Like me and my friends will spend hours and hours talking about how this rollout was terrible, how the branding is terrible, and all that stuff. So, you know, to put some knowledge and education behind it and some like trial and error techniques is really dope. But I got one last question. I never tell anybody this question, but I got one last question.
Okay.
What would you, if the world didn't have No Labels Necessary or Conscious Brand, what would they be missing?
If the world didn't
If the
have
world
no
didn't
labels
have what you guys
necessary,
did, what would they be missing out on? It's a tough one.
it is a tough one, man. I think the world will be missing out on seeing. I think the world will be missing out on seeing what it looks like for a music exec or someone in the industry to like truly grow from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that we are. I don't think we're the whole reason this has happened, but I do think we're a part of it. But there are a lot more content creators in our space now, right? You see a lot more people talking about marketing. You see a lot more agencies, you know what I'm saying, different services kind of popping up. And, you know, so now you can find this marketer on TikTok that has 1,000 followers and really maybe pay attention to their career throughout the rest of whatever. But, I mean, bro, like, to be real, we were, like, some of the first people to do that. When we started making content, bro, it was us. It was us, the Indiepreneur people, the Burstimo people, Wendy Day, and Jens the Guru, and Promo God, I believe. It was like I don't know if Kato was making content yet, and I don't know if Dame was making content yet. But we were, if you even think about that list and where those people were at their careers on time, we were the only people making content that hadn't had any like real success in the music industry yet. So I think even what was a huge draw for, you know, a lot of people that liked our content was that, hey, not only are these guys kind of talking about marketing, but they're damn near talking about it in real time. You know what I'm saying? Because we would go try some things, do some things. There'd be a YouTube video about it like a week or two later. You know what I'm saying? And then we were. If you go back and look at a lot of videos on YouTube, even we were some of the first people talking about Spotify playlisting. We were some of the first people talking about TikTok, you know what I'm saying, content and TikTok influencer marketing and things like that. And so I think that what would have been missing would have been, I don't think people in the back end of the industry think this, but I think that people who aren't in the back end of the industry think about this. Like, people think that the only people that can that has the answers are the people that already have like massive success, and they don't understand that those people aren't necessarily like better than you, the aspiring professional or whatever.
Yeah, different opportunity, man.
They've been doing it most times and not just longer than you. You know what I'm saying? And because they've been doing it longer for you, their resources, their connections and things have kind of, you know what I'm saying, just exponentially grown. Think back to the conversation we had earlier, right, about networking across. Every person in the music industry has that experience, right? Damn, the person that I was in the trenches with is now fucking the VP of a label or the president of a label or something like that. And I benefit in a way because we still hang out and we still cool. But I don't think that we had really gotten to see what it looked like for someone to like work their way into that, and especially not in like the new age. Like I said, all the other people making content, they were already there. Like Bursma was successful, entrepreneur. Not well, they would have to gauge like what successful is for them, but like all those people already had crazy clients. You know what I'm saying? We were the people bragging about the guy on Instagram that we helped get from 1,000 monthly listeners to 10,000 monthly listeners, and we didn't have no crazy stories yet until we did have a crazy story, which is what 24 Got Golden happened, and then it completely changed everything because now it went from like, hey, these were just internet guys, you know what I'm saying? We thought y'all were cool, but we didn't know what's up to like, oh, like, no, y'all legit put some shit together that crack. Yeah. And so it's like, if you go, I mean, I've deleted some of my old content, so the whole story isn't there, but like, I think I think when we look back for real, like 5, 10, you know what I'm saying, 20 years from now, I really do think people are going to look at like our individual platforms and the platforms as a whole, and it damn near will be like a documentary of like the modern indie music era, you know what I'm saying? Because we were some of the people talking about it. And like I said, I'm thankful that there are other contributors to it. I like that there are more content creators because, you know, it lifts up everybody. But yeah, I think that's what would have been missing. Who knows how long it would have taken for us to get authentic music industry professionals talking on the internet if they ain't see people like us. You know, the other thing I think that we inspired, and I think it's funny, but I kind of personally fuck with it. But I'm pretty sure there were people looking at us on the internet. You know what I'm saying? We're getting followers. We're popping up on pages and shit. Probably thinking like, man, I know more than that guy. I'm more well connected than that guy. I should start making content and get shit going. And I like that, bro, because I still say this to the day. When I talk to my industry friends who don't like to make content, I'm like, bro, we need more industry people that make content, bro. Like, I know what I know, but like, imagine how dope it would be if there was like, you know, multiple publicist versions of us, or like multiple lawyer versions of us, or like multiple booking agent versions of No Labels. Like, that would be such a crazy,
teaching the game.
You know, I know that there are people in, you know, thankfully content has evolved to where there is at least like 1 or 2 people, if not probably 10, honestly, in almost every section of the music industry that you can go learn from and you can get new ideas from. But there's still a lot of underrepresented areas of the music industry in terms of information that's available for everybody. And a large part is because these industry people don't want to make content. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to make TikTok.
Yeah, they sure don't.
YouTube videos, but they want to go break their artists and go home, bro. Like, that's all they want to do. And so I don't think that artists understand, not even just with me, but and Sean, but just, I don't think artists understand like how much of a privilege it is that the industry people that do talk online, you know what I'm saying? Like, how much of a privilege that is, bro. Because like, we represent like 0.00001% of the industry as a whole. Like, there are literally thousands of music marketers. There's probably thousands of people that do what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm humble, bro. There's probably some out there that are way better at digital marketing and certain aspects of it than me, and they ain't never gonna get on here and share their information with you. They're never gonna get on here and like, the only way you'll ever get gain from them is if you somehow learn that person exists and you get cool enough with them to have a conversation with them. But somebody like me, somebody like Sean, like, I'm an open book for the most part, but there's nothing in the marketing space that I'm not afraid to share that I've been through or that I've worked on, you know, whether it be good or bad. And I think that, you know, we've kind of inspired some content creators. I think there'll be some content creators out there who would admit that, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we asked them or they were asked out loud. And I think that the page itself is going to start inspiring more industry professionals to want to share because they feel like, hey, maybe No Labels necessary to pick it up. I got a thought. I got an opinion. I'm a award-winning manager, and I got an opinion about management. Or I'm a publisher that has 5,000, 50,000 songs in my catalog, and I got an idea about it. And like, hey, there's a platform that might post it and share it, and I might start a conversation. Like, and I think that's why I keep going back to. That's why I think that no labels will end up being our magnus opus, not because of what it will pull out of me and Sean, but because of what it'll pull out the rest of the
What
industry.
it'll
You know what I'm
get,
saying?
yeah,
Yeah.
and what it creates in the longer grand scheme of things. No, I
Cause
feel
that's all
that.
they need, bro. They all just need the platform. You know what I'm saying? Like the professionals need to feel like if I go talk, somebody out there is listening and it might go somewhere. And it's like, hey, we got you, bro. Like if we see it and you making some good points and you
There you
sharing some
go.
information, we'll post it. Like you go scroll through our account. We've posted superstar artists and managers, and we've posted just opinions from fans on TikTok, or we've posted, you know what I'm saying, opinions from smaller artists and things like that.
Mhm.
And for us, it's just about starting the conversation, sharing the information, you know what I'm saying, and just providing a place that maybe it won't necessarily become your sole home for education. Like I don't plan to be anybody's everything. You know what I'm saying? That's stressful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for real.
That's what the labels are for. You know what I'm saying? That could be your everything. But I like that. It's something that probably creates that spark in a lot of artists, in a lot of aspiring executives, and a lot of aspiring maybe educators and service
Mhm.
providers to even go seek out more information in these spaces. Like I like being a part of it, and I think that you know who knows how long it would have taken if we didn't do that. And if I stop being humble for a sec, if I really stop being humble for a sec, we also pioneered the whole TikTok strategy. Like we were super early on the TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the proof is in the pudding. You can go look at our YouTube. We were some of the first people to ever be talking about using TikTok as a marketing tool when people were scared to put $500 into it. We was on
Oh
there
yeah.
convincing clients to run $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 campaigns on it just so we could like try it. And that was the first time I learned a very valuable thing that a lot of people in music know but don't get to be a part of. But I've gotten to be a part of it, and so it's gonna live with me forever. But the feeling of what it's like to be early to something that takes off.
Hey, I wish
Everybody
I had that a
knows.
lot of
We
time.
all get to see it, and we all heard about when Facebook ads with 5 cents a click or some shit. We all heard about it, but very few got to
Mhm.
be a part of it, right? There was an era of TikTok marketing where you damn near were printing views if you used it, and I got to be a part of it. Not only did I get to be a part of it, I was a huge part in pioneering strategies for it and pioneering conversation around it. And I think that because TikTok history grows, our history grows right alongside
There
of
you
it. You know what I'm
go.
saying?
Can't
And
take
we
it
actually have
away.
a really great relationship with TikTok because of how early we were to TikTok. Like
Oh yeah.
TikTok fucks
See,
with us heavy. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They
that's
fuck
what's
with us. You
up.
know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
That's super what's up, man. But yeah, man, appreciate you coming on, Kohrey from No Label Necessary
appreciate
Contraband.
it, man.
Go check them out. I'll definitely put y'all's information under the thing. But yeah, man, I appreciate you taking the time out. Like you said, a lot more people need to come. Share the knowledge.
Yeah, bro.
I had one person at one point tell me the game is be sold, not told. I thought that was lame. So
The game is for both, bro. You can give it away and you can sell it, man. And I
yeah,
say that
so
as a person that does both. I sell information and I give it away for free, bro. And I
you
know
know.
that I know the value of both.
So yeah, man. But y'all know the deal. Be yourself because everyone else is taking. Shout out to Kohrey for pulling
Appreciate
up.
it, man.
And until next time, we out.